Hello, I'm Dr. Brandt Gibson, and welcome. Today, I want to help you take the next step to control or ignite your happiness and really understand how you can take that control. So, quick reminder, let me share my screen here. Let's bring up this graphic of basically where we're going. The idea is we actually start with hedonistic or external based happiness, and we want to get you to internal based happiness or eudaimonic happiness. The steps are basically you go from hunger to acceptance to personality to perception to you to mood. So the acronym to help you remember that is happy mood. So if you want a happy mood, you go through these steps so that you have control, so you're not giving control away to somebody else, because so often we don't really have that control, and we need to give that control back to ourselves, basically not give it to other individuals, not let them decide when, where, and how we're happy, because truthfully, you have the secret. I tell my children all the time that no one can make you happy, no one can make you mad, no one can make you sad. You choose to allow them to make you happy, mad, or sad. And so what I'm trying to do is help you understand how to get that internal so that you truly can make that difference. And the idea today is we're going to the 5th step, I believe. Yes, the 5th step. So let me see if I can pull up that graphic there. So if you remember, you've got hunger, which is the external, completely externally based. It's dependent on others helping you reach your pleasure areas, including eating, sleeping, and going to the bathroom. So the second is limiting beliefs, the acceptance of what others are telling you, what they're actually basically your happiness is dependent on what others say, and those limitations that you're placing on yourself based on that. The third is internalized limitations, where you're actually instead of saying, okay, these individuals are telling me what I should feel, what I should do, you've actually got internal limitations where you're keeping yourself from doing things because of your understanding of the world. And you're actually getting to the point where you say, okay, that's kind of where I'm at. And the fourth is your perception of things. And really, the information is, are you doing things because of what others think, what others will say, and what others do, or is it experience based? Are you based on the process, the journey, and so forth? Because there's a lot more happiness that's internal if you base it on that and not on your next Instagram post or next Facebook like or whatever. And the next one, the one we want to talk about today, I call you. And it's basically based on your ability to switch on or off circuits. Say, okay, my happiness is going to be based on certain situations, but if I find myself not happy, if I'm internally based on my happiness, I know the method to make the switch, to switch between joy and stress. Best example, this is based on a book, Wired for Joy, a revolutionary method for creating happiness from within, by Laurel Mellon. And she talks about it as circuits, that you have a stress circuit and you have a joy circuit, and you need to flip it on or off and be able to control it. And so there's a process. There's a process that you're going to actually go through to do this. Step number one, you need to recognize and accept your current state. The idea, most of the time, you're saying, I just don't want to feel this way right now. By not accepting, you're actually you're adding resistance. So you're actually making it worse. And you're kind of judging yourself based on that, and it makes it a lot harder to switch because you go from not liking the way you feel to angry that you are feeling that way, and you're compounding it. So you're building stress upon stress upon stress, and it makes it much harder to change it. So the first thing, accept where you're at. The second thing is you need to understand where you are in your brain state. She's named them out as 5 different states. Number 1, feeling great, feeling good, a little stressed, definitely stressed, and stressed out. Now we're using stress. There are multiple different reasons why you can have stress. It can be anger, fear, sadness, or guilty. All of those are 4 common feelings that we define as stress in this situation. So basically you need to understand where you're at, say, okay, where am I at? And then the next step is to decide where you need to go. So you need to shift your brain state to trigger a joy feeling and rewire it. Basically, she describes it as you're going from this stress state and you're rewiring the stress to, instead of going to stress, you're going to joy. And she's got 5 different tools depending on where you're at and where you're going to head. So the tools are the damage control tool that you're going to do if you're feeling completely stressed out, the cycle tool if you're moderately stressed, the emotional house cleaning tool if you just have a little bit of stress and you say, okay, I just need to push that out. The feelings check tool if you're feeling good but not great, and then the sanctuary tool if you're feeling great. And really the sanctuary tool is just celebrating where you're at and enjoying it and kind of adding a subconscious check mark to, this is the kind of feelings I like, this is the kind of feelings I want, and so forth. So we don't really have enough time to take you through all of these steps today, but there are things you can do. There's some big keys as you're doing this. Remember, you don't want to judge, and you want to work over a period of time to go through this. And part of that's recognizing where you're at. Part of that's self-talk. Part of that's actually managing the ideas here. This is something that I can go into much greater depth on for individuals that really feel like it would be valuable. But the idea is, instead of being based on the hedonistic, where you're based on what other people are saying, what other people are thinking, and you're saying, okay, I don't feel very good today, so I'm going to reach out to someone else to have them help me feel better. You're taking complete ownership and you're saying, I'm going to help myself feel better by 1, recognizing where you're at. Number 2, taking steps, key steps. And there's some simple steps that you can do through these tools to go to the next level. And 3, to really say, okay, let's make it happen. I guess number 2 really was to recognize where you're at. And then 3 is to do those steps. So number 1, we'll repeat it since I messed it up, since I messed up the framework here. So number 1 is to recognize where you're at. Let me go. Recognize and accept where you're at. So recognize that you're not happy, or recognize that you are happy, and accept it and say that's okay that I'm there. The second is to pick a brain state that's causing those feelings. And the third is to take the necessary steps to ensure that you get better. So I apologize for messing that up. That's the way it is. So if you really want to get control and take the steps necessary to become happy, that's the framework. That's the steps you need to take to do it. This is Dr. Brandt Gibson. Have a great rest of your day.